There we are. Okay, recording in progress. All right, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you, Hans.
Thank you so much. It's definitely a pleasure being on. It's Thankful Thursday. I know everyone is from many parts of the country, so hopefully no one's in Florida. And if you have friends and family in Florida, you guys are doing pretty well. So Gary, it's definitely is great to come here and just be a support and a resource for the work that you and your organization is doing. So I'm humbled and I'm glad to be here. So dive right in, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, good evening. My name is Hans Petitholm. I'm currently one of the VPs, senior business consultant with JP Chase. Right, I've been in the financial space for over 2 decades, from a private banker to a business banker, right? And now we run the executive coaching program. So I always feel it's important to, before we dive into the material, to just kind of give you an idea of who I am, who the speaker is, and what makes me qualified to talk about anything small business related, right? I've just been fortunate to sit across the table from multiple clients, some earnings high as $100 million in business over the years. And that alone has taught me so much about business that I deep dive into business myself, right? I always say, what good is an advisor if they've never been through the trenches, right? So my family and I, we've owned multiple businesses, multiple franchises, right? As many as 40 plus employees over the years. And even to this date, we have a nationwide business that we constantly involved in. So I'm in the business space, right? I always joke around, if I'm not at work, if I'm not with family, right? I'm doing something business related. So that's just a little bit about my background. But tonight, it's all about you. I came on to share just some basic foundation of business, both from experience and as well as from learning, I guess I mentioned, through my clients and over the years in banking. Because the foundation of business is always the same. Regardless if you're in the retail space, if you're in wholesaling, if you're doing B2B or B2C, the foundation is important. So I'm not sure how many years you all have in business, but you have to start with the foundation. My current role at JP Chase is, as I share my screen, I'm unable to share. Maybe you probably can make me a co-host to share.
Oh, pardon me. Let me do that.
Yeah. So I can share some information with you all.
You got access now.
You got access? Okay, let me just
Yep.
make sure. Give me 1 second while we get through some minors. And okay, great. And just give me a thumbs up if you are able to see my screen.
Yeah, we're able to see it.
We're good to go?
Mm-hmm.
All right, phenomenal. All right, so my current role at JP Morgan, we are part of a $30 billion commitment. The commitment is to the community. A little bit over 3.5 years ago, JP Chase made that commitment. There's 2 facets of that commitment. One, on the personal side, we wanted to educate the communities that we serve in. Education from how to be bankable, personal finances, personal credit, right? How to grow wealth through real estate. So we hired multiple community managers throughout the country to go into the communities to serve, to do workshops and conduct these workshops. So depending on where you are, if you ever pop into a JP Chase branch, you can simply ask for community events. You're more than welcome to come into these events to learn. On the opposite side of that support was the small business coaching for impact, right? We understood small businesses is the heartbeat of every community. Well, we wanted to come into the community and provide resources to these business owners, right? Resources through 5 areas of concentration. If you look at the screen here, the 5 areas, okay? And again, this is different from a cohort model. This is one-on-one executive coaching. The 5 areas we speak about is 1, operations management. That's the glue, the foundation of any business. So we help you and we educate you on how to make your business more efficient. We provide you with resources. We go over your strategies, right? And I want to talk a lot. Tonight's presentation is going to focus on the operation side of business, okay? Then we dive into cash flow management. That's money coming in and out of your business. How do we speed up the money coming in, right? How do we get more of it coming in? In turn, how do we maximize the cash flow that we currently have? Well, you maximize cash flow, and we'll educate you on different ways to maximize cash flow, okay? And also how to slow down the payables that you have going out to your vendors. Then we talk about business development. I love business development, right? And if you're in business, number one goal is to acquire a customer, okay? So business development for us is we look outside the box. See, a lot of businesses, right, and this comes across often with small businesses, is we think in a box. We come in and we say, hey, let's break the walls and look outside the box. Let's really start to understand the industry that you're in, and we look at the bigger picture. What aspects of your industry are profitable? What are your competitors doing? What is the average business in this space? What's their net revenue? What's their profit? And where are you according to the statistics? So we help you with business development, but with outside the box thinking. Then access to capital, the biggest elephant in any room, right? I need more capital, right? So we educate you on the different types of capital, whether it's through whether it's through SBA, whether it's through locally through us at JP Morgan, whether it's at your current bank, right? We'll educate you on the different types of capital. Therefore, you'll go back to your banker or you'll go back to your advisor with more knowledgeable as far as what you and your business need to succeed. And of course, one of my favorites, team of trusted advisors. That's who's in your circle. Who are the individuals pouring into your business, right? Both mentally and supportive. And who's helping you grow past the ebbs and flows of any single business. These 5 areas, ladies and gentlemen, is completely phenomenal. We have workshops, one-on-one workshops, all via Zoom. So regardless of where you're located, we're happy to serve you. But more importantly, these workshops are concentrated, they're intense, right? And they're all action items, okay? JP Morgan Chase sponsored this workshop. So for you as a business owner, zero out of pocket, but it's just our way to really support the growing community, regardless if you're a JP Morgan Chase customer or not, okay? That's my current position. So here in the DMV, there's 5 of us throughout the DMV, but there's about 80 of us across the country where we solely dedicate to working with business owners and help them level and elevate their businesses. That's my day-to-day. I love it with a passion, right? I don't sell anything. We pretty much coach and provide resources, but more importantly, just to hear success stories from individuals who've gone through the program with a different mindset on how to really succeed and grow their business. So I know tonight we're going to talk about business plans, right? So in line with business plan is one of my favorite presentations. I just switched it, Ms. Gary, I mean, if you can see it. One of my favorite presentation is your next level business. Building a foundation that lasts, okay? So I would love for this to be interactive. If that's possible, you can put it in the chat, all right? When you think about a business plan, what's the one thing that comes to mind? I love to see some chatter going on, even though I can't see many faces. Everybody got a still picture or a name up. But if you can put in the chat, when you think about small businesses, and business plan, what is the one thing that comes to mind? Okay, let's see if anybody else can comment. What's one thing that comes to mind when you think about a business plan? Somebody said, what business plan? Resources, financials, phenomenal. Budgeting, excellent, excellent. Naiva, phenomenal. Who else? Anyone else? So we're going to dive right in, right? So roadmap, there you go. Roadmap. I love that. Why? The purpose of a business plan is to share with whoever you're sharing the plan with, what your roadmap to success is with this business. And within this roadmap, you're going to have different stops along the way. Okay, I want you guys to visualize it with me. Years ago, I'm not dating myself, but we used to print out maps on Yahoo Maps when we go in directions to give us, right, stopping points or directions of where we got to go. The business plan is the same way. It's your roadmap to your business, your industry, what the game plan is, what strategies you have, right, to succeed. I always say, if you don't have a bullseye, you're going to miss your target all the time. So you got to have something to aim for, okay? So when you're thinking about business plan and your business, it's all about the foundation. One of the most important factors of foundation is, why are you in business? Right? What's the real reason that you decided to open up XYZ Corporation or XYZ LLC? Okay, so here's a famous quote you guys might have heard of. Damon John, he's a big advocate of small business. Right? Once I found my why, I was good to go. Each time out, the moment I understood what I was doing and why I was doing it was the moment I finally able to make something happen. That's a business plan, right? Why are you in business? Why are you doing it? What purpose does your business serve? That's part of your business plan. In every single business plan, there's always a couple things that individuals have, right? They have a vision, a mission, and a purpose. Okay, one of the must-have for every business executive is you got to have the right mindset. Right? Whether you're building your business part-time or full-time, you have to have the right mindset. Right? That is key to any business. I don't know if you ever heard of the flywheel effect, right? So flywheel is similar to, if you guys ever see a windmill, right? It starts off very, very slow when it starts to spin. It's slow. You can stand there and look at it. But what happens when it catches momentum? Right? That's what every single business owner thrives for. That momentum in business where it's flowing like a smooth running engine. Right? You know how to find your customers. You know your pricing is right? You're following the market. You're following the trends. You're not letting outside threats impact your business. You're moving. And every single quarter, you're meeting with your team and you strategize on how to conquer the next goal. But in the beginning, it's slow. This is when you turn back to the business plan and you re-identify and you understand exactly why you are in business. Okay? Again, the goal is the business plan tonight, right? But I want to leave you guys the foundation. No single action results in success. Just because you have the business plan alone, that means you're going to be successful. Right? The business plan alone is not going to give you success. It's just a foundation. Now you got to what? Put action behind the business plan to really start to acquire the success you want. Okay. Now, I'm gonna skip forward. Again, this is one of the workshops that we use. This specific workshop will take a participant of the program through 4 weeks. Right? We meet half an hour. And this specific one will take 4 weeks, half an hour, right, every week to complete. But tonight I'm gonna squeeze it and just kind of give you the nuggets. Why? To get you going on your business plan. Okay. So a couple of things you want to keep in mind going into the business plan, right? Personal growth can lead to business growth. Personal growth can lead to business growth, right? You want to embrace challenges. One of my mentors many, many moons ago said, don't get high on the highs and low on the lows. Don't get high on the highs and lows on the lows, right? Accept small wins. Celebrate the small wins, okay? And any small mishap, look at it as a learning improvement to make your strategies more efficient when it comes to business, okay? So let's first focus on, right? So when you're thinking about being an entrepreneur, when you're thinking about being a small business owner, you got to identify your why. Or like what pushes you to be in business? You got to keep the flywheel all right, method intact. Is yeah, it's going to be slow in the beginning, but if I continue, if I'm persistent with the same strategies over and over again, eventually I develop momentum. The hedgehog principle is lock in, right? You focus your mind on the task at hand and you lock in. Don't get distracted, but by anything that's not impacting your business. Growth mindset is the ability for the executive or the business owner to continue to grow, right? Programs like this, right, by conscious communities is part of the growth mindset. You're learning from other individuals in business, other individuals who's going through the process, right? And of course, the grit is a never giving up attitude. So let's dive in. I want to talk about the purpose, okay? The mission and the vision. Purpose, mission, and vision, right? So let's start with purpose. Who can share in the chat as we keep the chat active, right? Just tell me one thing. What's your purpose in business? Here's a hint. Why does your business do what it does? Because part of every single business plan, you need a purpose, a mission, and a vision, right? The purpose is your why. Let me repeat. The purpose of your business is the why. Why does your business do what it does? Who can put in the chat what their purpose is for their business? All right, chat is live. Let's go ahead and put in the chat what your purpose is for your business. Okay, Pamela, thank you. Generational wealth. Okay, and anyone else? Tax preparers and building their careers. Thank you, Marie. Anyone else? Feed the people of Warren County. Oh, I love it. Anyone else? Okay, so build science capital in Black communities and help others do the same. Thank you, Anita. All right, so think about it. In the beginning, we spoke about your why, right? Why are you getting in business? That's the personal why. Why are you getting in business is your personal why. I want to create generational wealth for my family. That's personal. That's personal. Are you guys with me? That's a personal why. I want to, build science capital in Black communities. Yeah, that could be a personal why as well. Your purpose is defined on why does your business exist? You guys with me? Why does your business exist? So it's bigger than your personal why, right? What is it that your business do? Why does it exist? So if you know why your business exists, is it going to solve a solution? It's going to solve a problem in the world. The problem could be the lack of capital in the Black communities. Good. That's the why for the business. My business exists to solve the problem in the Black communities. Here's with me. So you have to know what the purpose is, right, in order to drive the mission forward. So if you know why your business exists, now mission is how does your business do what it does? That's part of the business plan. So my why is to drive capital in the Black communities. Well, how are you going to do that? That's the mission. See, whether you're a for-profit company or a non-profit company, you always have a vision, purpose, and mission. That defines what you do if you're a nonprofit. It aligns with your board of directors. So the purpose of your business is, why does it exist? The mission is, how does your business do what it does? So if you say your business is to create generational wealth, if that's the why for the business, then how are you going to do that? Do you guys follow me? That's part of the business plan. See, I didn't come on to give you a template and say, here's a business plan. I came on to give you the foundation of how to create a business plan that's what? That's moving as you move. Right? That's adapting as you adapt. That's growing as you grow as a business owner. So we know why we in business personally, but do we know why our business exists? If so, how does our business do what it does? Then we're going to talk about the vision. The vision is the big change you want to spark. What's the impact to the community that you're serving? Whether you're a for-profit business or a non-for-profit, you got to share that vision. That vision is going to allow you to get donations. That vision is going to allow you to get customers. Because if you don't know why you're in business or how you do what you do, you won't be able to understand the vision that you have as an organization. Because when you go to your banker, and if you're applying for financing, they're going to say, tell me about your business. What is it that you do? How do you do it? And the how is everything, from business development through operations, right, through cash flow. That's all the how. You see, ladies and gentlemen, the mission, the vision, and the purpose is huge. We could spend 2 days talking about this because that's the foundation of your business. That's what goes into the business plan. Because from these three, then you start to create the rest of the story. Right? You start to talk about the budgeting. You start to talk about the strategy you have in place, the team members that you're working with. Do they all share the same mission as you, the same vision that you created? So we start talking about that, right? Any questions on mission, vision, and purpose? Okay, and we have a full workbook, and I'll be more than happy to get that workbook out, right, to the team. This way you guys can actually have it, right? And then in the workbook, you'll be able to define your mission. And it'll give you examples. You'll be able to capture the vision. That's when you say think big. What's the impact? What's the impact? And the impact is always what's the impact to the community or your clients? Or if you're thinking bigger, what's the impact to society? The workbook helps you identify that, helps you go over that process. Okay? And of course, you're going to have the tips. Anytime you start writing, phenomenal things happen. So get it on paper. Right? Don't think small, think big, think big. Think big. Can I create the same impact? Can I help communities financially, right, with this game plan? If I can do it in my town, can I do it across the world? And if I can do it across the world, what strategies can I put into my business plan that's going to work here, but also duplicatable in different states and even outside the country? And what it does is it gives you a robust business plan and allows you to think about, what can happen with external threats? If a policy changes, right, in my locality, can it impact how I do business? So you start to create strategies around that to ensure you have a robust system in place. Okay? Profit. That's going to be part of the business plan. Right? You got to have profit in your business plan. And that includes if you're a nonprofit organization. Profit is just calculated differently on the financials, but you got to have profit. You got to have money coming in. You got to have revenue coming in, right? Because the profit is going to fuel growth for your business. The profit that's come in is going to take care of the expenses. It's going to bring in new team members. It's going to allow you guys to get creative for R&D, research and development. Okay? So we always talk about profit. Okay? If you've ever done a SWOT analysis, okay, I would recommend you doing every single year if you can. For most large corporations, do one quarterly. Okay? SWOT analysis, strength of the business. What are the weaknesses of the business? Strength and weakness is internal. Things you control. Some of the questions you may ask yourself regarding strength is, why do customers buy from me? What resources can I provide to the community? Okay? What defines success in my business? In the same caliber, if you're going to talk about strengths, you talk about the weaknesses. A weakness could be why customers aren't buying from me. Why aren't anyone supporting my vision? Right? That could be some weaknesses. Opportunities is O. Opportunities is always outside. Threats is always outside. For example, what's happening down in Florida, in the Carolinas and Atlanta, that's a huge natural disaster threat. If your business is one of those states, right? Did you plan for that? Did you game plan? Did you put that into your goal? If we come across issues, here's how we're going to solve it. Did you have an emergency plan in place? That's all part of the business plan, right? Again, the business plan is always what? It's always changing. Always, always changing. Okay? So once you have the foundation, the mission, the purpose, the vision, and the why in place, now you start talking about the foundation for growth. Part of your business plans includes the structure of your organization. That's big. So you want to speak to your team, your CPA, or whoever, or your attorney, and really game plan on the business and how you plan on structuring the business. You can't just say, I want to create an LLC or a sole prop, and that's it. So when I say you game plan with the business plan, you got to sit down and say, what's the vision for this company I'm looking to create? Am I doing it just to pass time? Is it going to be a local or regional or national company or a global company? If so, the next question should be, what other organizations or companies exist in my space, in my industry? How are they structured? So we start to look at different organizations to see, how did XYZ company, who I model my business after, how are they structured? Right? So you don't need to reinvent the wheel if you know someone in the industry you want to be in and you know exactly how they're structured. So when you're creating your business plan, you're going to identify my structure, and you're going to ask yourself a couple of questions, right? Will my structure allow liability, both personal and business? Will it offer flexibility? Control? Who's controlling? And more importantly, as you continue to scale your business, am I in the right structure to allow future funding? Okay. I'm looking at the chat. I'm not sure. Are we taking questions? I see somebody got their hands up. Joanne, if you want to come off mute, feel free to ask a question.
Okay, perfect. I won't be too long. I just had a question about the SWOT analysis, if we could just take a step back on that if possible.
Yeah.
Because I've done several SWOT analysis for the business concept that I have, and I always struggle with differentiating between the strengths and the opportunities. And you had given some examples of questions to ask to kind of like define the strengths, but I didn't get a chance to write them down. So I wanted to see if you could just repeat those for my notes.
To define the strength?
Yeah, so like because for some reason my strengths list and my opportunities tend to like overlap. I can't find areas that are I guess I'm just not doing it right or thinking about strengths. Like I'm not differentiating those two opportunities and strengths properly. So you had mentioned like specific questions
Oh
when
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
when
Like here's one easy question, right? For strength, right? Because anywhere you go, companies are always highlighting their strength, right? So
Mhm.
it's what does your business do well? Think about that for a second, right? And then here's a tip. When you're doing these, when you looking at your business, I want you to put on the consumer hat. Just remove the CEO hat or the boss hat or the executive hat for a second and put on a consumer hat, right? And then ask yourself, what does your business do well? If someone can't tell you what your business do well, then, right, that's not a strength. Another wonderful question is, what resources does your business have that distinguishes you in the market? What resources does your business do well or that you have that distinguishes you from your market? Here's another one. What are the most important processes and skills that your business offers? Here's a simple one. Why do your customers buy from you? Why do your customers buy from you? That's strengths. I have a whole bunch more. What I'll do is I'll get it to Diana and her team, and then they'll be able to send it out to you all.
Thank you so much. That was so helpful.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll get that out, including the workbook, so you guys can actually have it.
Okay.
It's important, right? Because again, the ship will move as fast as the people on board. So when you're thinking about hiring as well, do a SWOT analysis on them, right? Do a SWOT analysis on your team members. Okay, and as far as opportunities goes, it's external. What do I mean by external? For example, if you are in the restoration business, unfortunate but not unfortunate is what? There's a huge storm that just took place this week and last week. If you're in the restoration business, that's a win. That's an opportunity. Does that make sense? That's an opportunity. So just keep that in mind while you expand your business, and just not think local. Start looking at your industry that you play in. Okay? And that's when you're going to see how important having the right business structure is. I'm not going to go over this too much, right? You guys can pretty much look up what a sole prop is, partnership, corporation, right? LLC, and so forth. And of course, a B corporation, right? And in the structure, it gives you a little cheat sheet that you can have to go over. Okay? Streamline operations. Again, I mentioned, you have the foundation, right? Then you want to talk about the operations in your business plan. How does your business move? Right? From the initial contact for a client to engaging the customer, to the processes after that engagement, to the follow-up, to the close, and what happens after the follow-up. It's a whole operation. Why do we want to streamline the operation? You have to streamline the operation to eventually step away from the business, but the operation still moves. Does that make sense? That's why processes are so important. And processes are what can be tracked. If you are practicing, right? I don't like to give homework, but here's a simple thing you can do. Write down every single thing you do in your business Monday through Friday. And write it down as you're doing it. And when you get a chance, go back and look at that list. Right? Just look at the list. For 1 week, just 1 week alone. If you want to do it for more, that's totally up to you. But for 1 week, write down every single thing you do in your business. From a phone call, through a meeting, through a meeting with your team, through sitting down for half an hour to get creative, or writing a proposal, whatever it is, write it down. Write it down. Right? And then subconsciously, you're going to start to keep track of the activities of your business. And you're going to understand is the things that you're doing now, is it sufficient? Or is it efficient to really build your business? Because if you don't track anything, we won't track anything. Right? Just do it for 1 week. And you'll know if you have a steady operation that's streamlined. Can you remove yourself from the equation and business still come in? That's part of the business plan. Because the business plan, you should be able to hire a new operations manager and say, here's the task at hand, and they follow suit. That's why I love franchises so much, because they have a process already in place. All I got to do is plug into the process and then bring in my own spices, right, and experience to grow that process further. That's why if you look at every single franchise owner, they all don't move the same. There's a reason why some people are fast to revenue and some are not. Okay, let's continue. This is talk about organizations. I'm going to go ahead and skip that. The roadmap, right? Somebody mentioned it earlier, right? You got to map processes and workflows. We just spoke about that, right? Take inventory of every aspect of your business and the steps you complete each activity. If you're in retail, you should know the time it takes to produce the product, get the product sold, and shipped out to your customers. What's that turnaround time? Can you scale it? Can it grow? If you get more orders, do you have a process in place that's simple that you'll be able to deliver without a hiccup? That's part of the business plan. This is the foundation that a lot of people don't sit down and consider. Right? Everything now is processes, is data, is tracked. We can't toss it against the wall and hope it stick anymore. There's too many resources to do that. You got to come in with a serious game plan. You got to analyze your process. Right? Where do you slow down? What mistakes often happen? If you're dropping the ball so many times, or your team's dropping the ball, right? Or you finding a solution on why the ball is being dropped. That's key. That's key. If you're buying wholesale, right, and your sales are increasing, or you're negotiating lower prices, that's all part of the process. Again, data. You got to use data. But to have data, you got to keep track of it. So in your business plan, you got to figure out how you're going to keep track of your processes. Do you have a system in place, all right, for every interaction? Do you have a system in place that streamlines your follow-up process with your clients? Do you have a system in place where you're meeting with your team once a week, once a month, to talk about the previous week? Again, you got to look at the data. Because how are you going to meet the goals if you don't have a target? And if you're not tracking your target? If you're not adjusting the lens on your target to make sure you hit it? Right? Again, we have that in the workbook, right? It talks about the value proposition, the activities, customer relationships. It's all in the workbook. Let's continue. I know we had to late, but we won't stay too late. All right, I won't keep you guys too long. Develop agility and resilience. We've all seen how important it is to build a business that can adapt quickly. Okay, so when you think about your business as it is today, what is your top priority right now for making your business more agile and resilient? Put it in the chat, right? Like, what is your top priority right now? If you're looking at your business, is it building a bigger cash buffer? Right? Is it finding new customers? Everyone wants new customers, but is that a priority? Is it securing new capital? If it is, why? Is it strengthening business relationships? Right? Put in the chat, right? Let's get a couple individuals in there. Put in the chat, what is your top priority right now for your business? How do you make it more agile and more resilient? Right? I'm curious. Oh, I like that one. Becoming a cultural staple. It's huge. Building a community of invested members, partnerships, community education, and cooperative business impact and opportunities. That's all. That's relationships. Right? That's relationships. How do you build more partnerships? Relationships. Right? Make it a win-win. That's strong relationships. How do you build a community of invested members? Again, relationships. Right? Goes back to that why. And it goes back to that purpose, right? And the mission. If you want to build a community of invested members, how you going to get there? Okay. 75% of business owners anticipate a need for financing to fund continued growth. We all know cash is king. We get it, right? We all know that you're going to need cash for financing, for inventory, for hiring, for marketing, right? You want to invest in the right tools. Would you believe me if I told you there's tools out there that can help your business completely free, no charge? There's a lot of them, right? So you don't need to get the latest fancy gadget just to make it. Okay? Here's a list of what you want to look at, right? Just go through your technology, get it in the workbook, and just do an audit. If you're thinking about buying a new equipment, find out if it's going to help the business. Is it going to bring in revenue? If it's not going to bring in revenue, do I really need it? Is it going to speed up my process and make me more efficient? More efficient, I may be able to spit out more widgets. That could be a good investment, right? Again, something that's not talked about much, right? How do you protect your business from cyber threats? Right? How do you protect your business from cyber threats? Okay? Again, you want to make sure these are part of all your business plan. But this is the whole operations. And here's a tip. If you're going to be in business, make sure you have a legit business email. Brand yourself, not Gmail. You can go to Google admin and get a account associated with your domain. Works the same as Gmail. I do it all the time, right? Just start branding yourself, right? Because when you get somebody your business plan with your XYZ corporation, it sounds stronger, more powerful than, right? abc@gmail.com. Just something to think about, okay? Again, these are some tools, right? We want to go past those, okay? Good. So part of your business plan will involve scaling. What's the game plan to scale? One of the ways businesses and organizations scale is to what? Hire new team members. So when you're looking to hire and bring in a new team members, what are you looking for? Do you have a process in place that identifies that? Do you look for somebody with work ethic, vision, collaboration, diversity, right? People who make up for your weaknesses. How do you know you have weaknesses? Go back to the SWOT. Right? Everything works hand in hand, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? So that's part of the business plan, right? You got to talk about your team. You got to build an attractive workplace. Okay? And in doing so, you're going to avoid what a lot of businesses are having now, which is what? Attrition. People are coming in, working for 2 weeks and leaving. How do you prevent that? Well, you got to build an attractive workplace. You got to have a culture in place. Is that part of your business plan? Okay. Write this down. If anything I said tonight catches, sparks some interest, a light bulb went off, write down what's highlighted. Corporate crushes. Earlier, I spoke about identifying a company or an organization that's in your space that you look up to and copying what they do. That's a corporate crush. You find your favorite brand or organization, right? And just see what they do, how they do it, how they market, how they grow, how they brand, what's their why, what's their mission, what's their purpose, how often they put out a quarterly report. If they do, are you following it? How are they structured? Right? The blueprint is already there. We just got to identify, know where it is, and then go out there and look it up. Okay? Again, part of your business growth is you got to have professionals around you. CPAs, attorneys, bankers, marketing professionals, IT, they all contribute to a growing business. That's one of the reasons I love the banking space. We get to engage with so many industries and so many professionals throughout our careers. So we develop solid relationships. As a business owner, you want that. You want to have a banker in your circle that says, hey, XYZ is changing. You might want to take a look at this. You want to have a CPA in your organization that says, have you noticed that they changed the laws that may impact your business? Oh, I see another hand up. Is it Naima?
Yes, I don't know. Was that like a rhetorical question about the the corporate crushes? Not rhetorical, but just like for the for the presentation. But I did want to kind of ask about and it's related to what you're talking about, that my community foundation and how we have people from housing projects, we have unhoused people, and we have all of these perspectives that are involved in decision making. And otherwise we would not really know about these people, and they present back to us what their needs are. And that was part of a strategic planning process. And I was curious to know if there's like a kind of a parallel in the cooperative or business space of getting that type of information, as far as like the needs of people that you don't often see or hear from.
Absolutely there is, right? And if you have to look at the similar groups or organizations that serve, that has the similar mission as you do. What are they doing? How are they engaging with the community? Right? Do they have someone that goes to the community directly and asks the right questions? Or are they physically engaged with the community? Because you can sit in any corporate boardroom and you won't know what down the street is doing. Does that make sense? So there's organizations out there that has members in the community that they serve, and the members are the ones sitting at the board, giving them the feedback, giving them the input. And then together, they come up with strategies that work for the community to drive the mission forward. Right? So it's a corporate crush. It's an organization or company that's already in your space, and they're doing it at a high level. Right? They're doing it at a high level, then that's who you follow. Right? If they do events, see how they do the events. If they have community meetings and you can attend. Right? Look at their website. Look at their past work. Look at how they file taxes, their nonprofit. Right? That's a corporate crush. Regardless of the industry that you're in, there's always a bigger company, more polished, more robust, more strategy you can actually follow and duplicate from what they've done. It speeds up your learning curve. Okay? Speeds up your learning curve. Great question and great tool to have in your business plan. Okay, I'm gonna skip a couple of these. And this is big as well, and I want to talk about that. In your business plan, have a game plan to be certified. You're not recognized as a minority-owned business just because you say you're a minority-owned business. Okay? Have a game plan to be certified. It gets you in the door, depending on your industry. Okay? If you want to be a minority-owned business, you got to be a certified minority-owned business. The same with being a woman-owned business, you got to be certified. You're not recognized just by saying you are. You have to be certified. So create a game plan in your business plan to get certified. Okay. Number 5, keep pushing. I think this is gonna be the last slide. So when updating, right? So we spoke about the foundations, and we spoke about the internal operations, right? The working of a business plan, the working of the company, right? We spoke about the cash flow, why you need the cash flow, right? All goes up to the business plan, right? You want to frequently and constantly keep updating the business plan. Have an executive summary that talks about the mission, the vision, and the purpose, right? Look at your competitive landscape, the industry that you're in. Don't localize yourself, right? Don't utilize the resources of the community that you serve, but don't localize yourself, because then you'll localize how you think about the business. Okay? You want to talk about your legal structure. How is it beneficial? How is it not beneficial? Will the new policy that's coming up this year, will it impact my business? You and your CPA should be having a conversation. Hey, what's on the table right now come election that's going to impact my business? Right? What is it? Again, reimagine the strategy you have for marketing and selling to customers. Right? The last couple of years changed how business is done. But it's been in the works for years. It just now, right? Once COVID happened, everybody shifted online. And deals were getting done online, regardless of background, race, age, or what kind of business you're in. So it shifted. So how are you strategizing to target that new shift? That's part of your business plan, right? It's a moving cycle. And of course, keep pushing. You and your business are worth the investment, right? You're in business for a reason. But always remember, you're not in business by yourself. Utilize the resources that's provided for you, right? And implement the practices that you are taught. So that's my time. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll definitely open it up for some questions. I will get the team the 2 takeaways, the workbook I just went over, as well as the SWOT questions for you guys to really sit down and just start really working on your business to scale. So turn it back to you, sir. If anybody have any questions.
Well, thank you, Hans. You can unmute yourself and ask your questions or that you have been pondering on.
No question is too big or too small.
I had a question. And forgive me, I did hop on. I was wrapping up another call, so I did hop on a little bit late, but I came in when you were talking about the mission, vision, and I believe the purpose statement. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I know it was mission, and vision, but I feel like it was one more. But I wanted to see if you didn't already share this information, just some additional tips that you might be able to share to strengthen the mission and vision statements so that they appeal in a way that feels like you're not just limiting your business to a specific region or a group of people. Something that really targets more of like a I don't want to say diverse, but more of a larger network, like to make it a little bit more inclusive like if you're targeting the Black community specifically, but allies are welcome as well, how do you create a statement that kind of includes all of that without shifting the focus on the community that it's meant to serve?
Oh, that's a phenomenal question.
Thank you.
So if you think about, targeting the Black community, right? Why is it that minority owners are less successful in the Black community than their counterparts? Think about that for a second, right? A minority business is less successful in their own community than the counterparts, than a Caucasian or Asian business. Why is that?
Is that like a rhetorical question, or you want us to kind of throw some
No,
answers?
no, just think about it, right? And,
Mhm.
and I'm saying this because when we creating a business, we yes, we want to put the purpose of the business for a specific audience. But in the same time, if you recall, in one of the presents, I said, in business, you always got to be into making a profit as well. You got to be profitable. Because if you're not profitable, whether you're a nonprofit or not-profit, you can't serve the community that you're in. If you're not profitable in business, you can't provide for the next clientele.
Mhm.
One of and I did a study years ago on marketing and branding. Okay, on marketing and branding. And one of the benefits to really go back to the corporate crush in business is if you look at the high level marketing. If your business is for the community, we know it's for the community because you're in the community, you serve in the community. But you can't just market to the community that you serve. You got to market outside the community. How do you market outside the community? Well, you use, right, specific words and niches in your marketing campaigns. So you're not identifying, hey, this is for the Black community. My business serves the community as a whole. You can remove one or two words. Does that make sense? Because sometimes we always hear it, we gotta make the money outside our community to bring it back into the community. So you limit yourself, right? If you are targeting a specific group that you're looking to assist, just to assist that group. If you're going to be in business, it goes back to what impact are you creating in the community? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that did.
Right. So if you're looking to scale into as a community, if your services can be have in any community, then you market your services. You highlight the services. What you choose to do with the proceeds is totally up to you. You and your team control how you move the proceeds. But to attract the clientele that pays for the services, you start focusing not only local, but if you want to keep your business regional, you focus on the regional territories.
Got it. That makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. That's a great question. And if you email me what industry you're in, I'll send you a community guide.
Perfect. I will do that. Thank you.
I will put my email in the chat. We have a chat for you. There it is. Yeah, Tamika, that makes sense in a million and more ways than one, right? And even there's public cases now where organizations where the commitment to the Black community, right, had to stop their mission in whole because they were being sued, right, all in the federal court system. So just be cautious of the brand you building, right? And then I always say keep politics out of it, but build to serve people with your services. And by default, your organization will be more fruitful. Any other questions? Please come on mute. Yep.
I don't
Please
want
come
to
off
hog
mute.
up
Don't be
all
shy.
I'm sorry, I don't want to hog up all the question space,
No,
but
no, by all means, it's like you're the only one who's asking questions.
I had a comment about the SWOT analysis because I was reviewing some of the questions, and I'm also looking at in terms of opportunities, and this might be something for anyone whose work overlaps with policy like mine does. Opportunities, if you are looking at or follow bills that are relevant to your industry. Like, so for instance, Ms. Pam and I are in the food industry. We work with Black Farmers United, and then she also
Mhm.
has her own nonprofit as well. But we're up on the policy the policy changes that are happening within New York State, for instance, the Good Food New York bill. And within our industry, if a co-op was established that service people with food, an opportunity could really be understanding how some of these new laws and legislations are being rolled out, and using that as an opportunity for business growth. So I just wanted to uplift that to anybody else in the chat whose work may overlap with policy, or even if it doesn't, just understanding or knowing where to look for specific legislation in your city or on a local level, and using that to kind of to build out a SWOT analysis and determine like strengths and opportunities and even threats to your business. And what made me think about that was what you said specifically about how a lot of the businesses that are catered specifically to Black folk, like the Fearless Fund or any type of business that specifically says for Black people, has been targeted. So understanding the laws and following like those cases and things like that to really help inform how you shape your business. So yeah, I just wanted to uplift that.
No, you're absolutely right. And that's why the SWOT analysis is so important, especially when it comes to opportunities and threats. We have to start thinking bigger. We have to start thinking, right? There's policies being written every single day that impacts businesses, right? You mentioned the Black Farmers Association, right? There's grants that different counties, right, are providing for farmers. If you're in that space, or you're aware of it. So you have to think outside the box, ladies and gentlemen. Great point, Joanna. Thank you for sharing that.
No problem. Thank you for making space for me.
Right. Any questions before we wrap up? Go ahead, Naima.
Yeah, I was just I actually had a conversation with a trademark attorney earlier today, and basically, I guess maybe some of this can open up your business to being stolen. Is there like any, I don't know, guideline or recommendation as to, you know, protecting yourself or oversharing some of your business details? Actually, I've actually personally experienced some of that myself. Um, and yeah, if you have any recommendations on that.
I mean, one, I mean, you can look into, who you're sharing your business processes with, by having an NDA. You'll hear a lot that NDAs are worth the paper that they're written on. But if you work with your attorney, you have a solid NDA that really stretches out. That's one way to protect, your assets. Right. Other than that, there's really not much you can do from not having somebody take your ideas. Right. And even most businesses became successful from a different idea that just expanded on that idea. Right. One of the key things is if you have an idea that's unique, be the first to market it. If you have an idea that's unique, be the first to market it. Be the first to bring it to the marketplace. Don't sit back and overanalyze, right, how you're going to get to the market. Just get to the marketplace as fast as possible so you can build a brand, right, with that, so people can know that this is your business, you started first. You're not going to do too much to prevent others from copying your ideas, but as long as you're the first to do it, you'll be fine. right? For those who's on the internet, if you remember, years ago we had I don't know if it was Bing by Microsoft or even Lexus, right? What happened to Lexus? Google happened. All right. So just keep that in mind. There's always going to be somebody that's going to look to what you're doing, a different idea. Just be the first to get it, but always look to improve your process and what you have.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
One of the things
Go ahead.
that I was wondering about was coming, even if it's through an organization such as NDCC, building an AI model so different people, different, constituents can have access to this kind of information. Because when you ask the question to me about, why is it that Black businesses don't perform as well or whatever, the reason why I'm really focused on creating the organization I am is because there's talent, there is innovation, there is energy, but there's a lack of knowledge. And I'm wondering how easy it is to build an AI model, and if there's money out there for groups to come together to collect the data or to coalesce the data through their work to build an AI model so that we can have access to knowledge, even if it's general knowledge, just being aware of say, for instance, what you're doing on more of a basic literacy level.
So you're asking me, is there a way to create an AI model for that?
Yeah, is there any I don't even know where to start, quite frankly. But I was really thinking of, for my organization, I was thinking of when we initiate our help line, that we take in questions and we answer those questions and we build an AI model based on that activity. You see what I'm saying? And then we grow on that capital, which is that data of that work that we're doing.
Okay, so I mean, it's interesting because one thing you can look into is what do you do with that data that you captured? Right?
We would make it available to other people, other startups, whoever would become our subscribers is really what I was thinking of. But on a more altruistic level, offer it to groups such as NDCC or Black entrepreneurs or whatever.
Yeah, right. I mean, you said it, right? You're going to collect the data and eventually your subscribers will pay for the data to see how they can benefit them. Right? So you can expand that model. You just have to ensure, is there a way to make it streamlined for those who get subscribed to it, right? And then what benefit would it be for them to subscribe to it?
Right.
Does that make sense? So when you're developing, and this is why it's key to always think outside the box, right? Like you're already thinking outside the box, but I want you to expand on the potential of that. If you collect the data, is the data useful amongst other organizations? If it is, in what way? You would have to be able to share with other organizations the benefit of the data you collected. How it's helped your organization do X, Y, Z. How you've been able to redefine campaigns based on this data, right? And if you know the data is built on why aren't Black firms successful, and you have that data on why they could be successful, how do you be creative enough to get that to the marketplace and say, hey, I found the golden secret on what makes firms successful, and I have the data to prove it.
That's a good question. Okay. Yeah.
You see, so you got to make that data so valuable that somebody's willing to subscribe to it.
Right.
But great question, though. I mean, I love AI, creative thinking.
Mhm.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome. Any other questions?
Well, if there's no more questions, Hans, I just want to thank you for sharing your knowledge and your experiences with this audience of creative, energetic people. I need to follow up with you on another note as well. But for the night's presentation, just again, thank you, and wish you well on your journey, brother.
No, I appreciate it, man. Again, anyone, you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm not that difficult to find. Just use my first and my last name. If you have questions, shoot it over, right? If there's a resource I can connect you with in the industry or an industry insight that you have, send me a message. I think, my role is service, right? So I love to serve, I love to help. And whatever I can do to help you get to the next level, I'm 100% on your side. And if you are in the DMV, by any chance, I'm just going to share this real quick. We're having a special event on the 24th of October. So I'm just going to share this real quick. So if you are in the DMV, you can scan the QR code. Feel free to stop by. In fact, I'm going to put the link in the chat. We're having a special insight tour as part of our Culture for Impact initiative. It's 100% free. We're going to have a fireside chat with Layla Ali. We're also going to have different breakout workshops all around marketing and targeting. So let me just get this link for you correctly. Give me 1 second. Right, so feel free to come out. If you know anybody in DMV, send it over. If you have team members in the DMV, get it out. It's really going to be powerful. We do these once a year, and we select 3 cities. We just happen to have one in the DMV. For those who like to engage, we will have hors d'oeuvres, right? So feel free to come out. The link is in the chat.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
I'll make sure that we distribute it to our network as well.
Yeah.
In Baltimore.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Godspeed with your businesses. Always keep in mind, don't do it alone. Use resources like us, like the NDCC, the community, and then use one another, right? Every single one of you has a unique business with unique knowledge and resources. Share those resources. I think Marie mentioned she's building a database of resources, right? Here's your start. There's 17 individuals in this chat that could provide value and insight to that database. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure. God bless everyone, and I look forward to connecting with you all on LinkedIn or Facebook.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. As we close out for the evening, I just want to remind everybody to fill out the survey. I'll have Diana send it out to you individually, and so if you can fill out the survey as we go through these sessions, it certainly, again, it'd be helpful because we're trying to grow, and we're trying to learn from our experiences, and part of it is learning from you and how do you view these experiences that we're sharing with you. So next week we have another session. I wish you all well, and have a great evening.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.
Bye.